Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Jimbo,
And I'm Jimmy.
coming to you live from Turnbuckle Times. From the stand, but from Turnbuckle Times. We'll get back on the Turnbuckle channel soon, and we're going to blow that thing out of the water. Ain't we, Jimmy?
That's right.
So we're going to talk a little wrestling if y'all want to.
We
Been
sure
up
are.
a few times.
Know a little bit about that, don't we?
Just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. I let it, my love for that sport and, well, entertainment, whatever you want to call it, but I let my love for that stand in the way of my health, and I'm crippled because of it.
I hear
So,
you, brother.
even though I never did any crazy bumps or anything, but just some of the things that I did do that went wrong, you know.
Well, I was one of the crazy ones, like old Mark Walbright. I just done too much crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I'm paying for it in my years now.
Ironically, Walbright ruptured 3 discs in my back in that 2004 match at the Armory when Buck Bagwell and they were there. Walbright was supposed to catch me coming off the second rope, which I was over 300 pounds, so it wasn't no easy thing to do. But and then power slam, and that's what I was ready for. I was headed into that power slam, and well, he decided to do the backbreaker. Drop to one knee and fold me up over the other knee. And he said, "Oh, I forgot, brother. I thought we was doing the backbreaker." I said, "No, but you did."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was a bad night. I ended up going to the hospital that night.
No kidding.
Because I was hungry.
Well, we all had a love for the sport. I mean, and it was just something that we loved doing. And we didn't think about the consequences of what was going to happen to us in the future. We just loved the business that much that we wanted to be a part of it. We wanted to put on good shows. But,
Yeah.
in later years, we're paying for it. As I tried to talk to the younger generations coming up that want to get into wrestling, you need to think about the moveset that you have, because if you are safer and have a better moveset, you're going to go far, you're going to have a good career. But if you're crazy, like myself and Mike, and jumping off of ladders onto people, through tables and stuff, and getting hit with chairs all the time, VCRs, and anything you can get your hands on, then it's going to shorten your career up. And it sure did. I lasted 10 years, I think. And then I ended up hanging my.
I got 13 altogether, 13, but it wasn't 13 straight. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's other, big names. Like you look at Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan's crippled, and I mean that dude never did any bumping. Like,
yeah, no kidding. It's all the leg drops, man. That impact. I mean, that's tailbone on the fucking brain, dude.
Yeah, the impact, it shoved your spine up into the brainstem. It does.
Oh hell yeah! It's. I mean, they're called high impact moves. Even your basic body slam. I mean, you're landing on your back and your shoulders, your neck. After a while, if you're not landing the right way, to this day, I have neck problems.
Oh,
but
me too.
I contribute a lot of that too from all the chair shots that I took over the years and falling into tables head first.
Yeah.
Because there was a couple of us was kind of reckless and didn't care what we did to ourselves as long as we was putting on a good show for the folks to keep them coming back put asses in the seats and money in the pockets.
It's all about that 3-letter word, pop. All
Yep.
about the pop.
Gotta get that pop, man.
If you can get a little crowd reaction, then you've done your job.
Yeah, Abdullah the butcher told me one time, says you gotta get your heat, baby. Gotta get your heat.
Yeah. The more heat you get, the less you actually have to do, because if you're getting the heat without having to be crazy, then good for you. I've seen, hell, I mean, you remember Rip and Rage? Those guys. Now Rip would do some crazy stuff as far as high flying and big stuff, but those guys were so over and hated that they didn't even really have to do anything. I mean, they beat people up and didn't have to take a whole lot, and then at some point, months into a feud, then the baby face would get their revenge and then move on to something else. The sound is not good for Jimmy. It's a little muffled. You got a mic like mine?
Is it?
I'm
using my phone tonight.
Oh, using your phone? I don't.
Let me.
My microphone's probably 3 feet away from me, bro. I don't even use it. I use it, but it's way over there. I don't have to. Those microphones pick up really good.
Let me see.
Oh, that's way better.
All right. Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, can y'all tell the difference in that? That sound better? Getting the message.
Does that sound better, Stan Gang?
Yeah, I'm getting a message here. Yeah, he's checking on it now. It sounds better, I think.
All right, let's see. Hello, Nana Kim, Pink Bolo.
Hey, Truth Hurts. I seen Truth Hurts Under Attack earlier, and I've been watching in the bushes while I was driving and working all day. But here's the thing, without getting into too much of the drama, because we'll get into that on the stand. But I feel bad for people, like Truth Hurts, and other people who have, simply changed their mind. Their train of thought, whether it be for whatever you think is good or bad, they change their mind, and that doesn't mean they're flip flopping or that they didn't mean what they said when they said it 3 years ago or 2 years ago. It just means that they've changed their mind, and and that's their business.
Exactly.
If you don't like it, tune out. Tune out.
And it's just like that's just like with either channel, with Jimbo's channels, with our Turnbuckle Times channel that we're getting started. If you guys don't like those topics that we talk about, that's the good thing about it. Jimbo has the stand. I've got my Appalachian Jimmy channel where I talk about ghosts and all the other unknown things that people like. There's a variety of stuff for everyone. So, if you just don't like it, just don't fucking listen, folks. I'm sorry to tell you, to be blunt about it, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's the simplest thing to do on the internet is not type in the address to the channel you don't want to see. It's so easy.
Exactly, brother.
Like there's several channels, like for one, Traders and Bird. And there's a bunch of channels that are just what I consider to be completely vile, and I don't even watch it. I'll see clips here and there, but as far as me actually making an effort to go to their channel and look at it, I ain't been to none of their channels in a long time. And I mean, it's that's the way it is. I mean, I'm getting old, Jimmy. I can just choose to not partake in the ignorance.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's one of the good things that I'm finding out. The closer I get to 3 more years till 50, I can get to that point where I can just say old and I don't give a shit no more. And I hate to say it, I'm already been to that point since I hit 40. But hey, it is what it is. me and Jimbo are Harlan County, Kentucky boys. We were raised different from a lot of people around the United States. You have our respect as long as you show us respect. But once you start disrespecting us or our friends and family, then you got major fucking problems.
Yep. Truth said, I can't help they're just pieces of crap, and they were able to hide it for however long. It doesn't make me a flip flopper. When I see things for myself, I'm gone. And that's the thing, people wake up, people see things like how many people did Ernie pull the wool over their eyes for years, and now they see what the real truth is, and well, they're gone.
And for him to have such a strong influence over these people for a lot, and a lot of these people have to fucking see right through what he's doing, and they just don't give a shit. They taking everything he's saying, whether it's a lie or the truth. They don't care because he's got this narrative to everybody that he is right and everybody else is wrong.
Yeah.
He's not a criminal. He's not a fugitive from the law. He's not this or that when he actually is. And it's sad because me and Jimbo know the boy pretty decent from meeting him in the past and stuff. When he would come to shows and tell us he was the fucking NWA heavyweight champion. Yeah. Knowing he's lying right straight through his damn teeth.
What's up, Skunk?
Skunk, what's up, bro?
So hey, let's talk a little bit about wrestling. So I saw your questions,
right.
Some of them. Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Now I want you to Mount Rushmore. Obvious, that everybody knows. The major brand of WWE, WWF, WCW, NWA, AWA. Those guys. Also, I would like to know what your Mount Rushmore is of people you've worked with. And let's say you got 4 matches left, one with each guy on Mount Rushmore. What 4 are you going to wrestle? What 4 are you going to work?
Well, I'll start out.
Me personally, I'd like to know because it's just curious because there's some guys that I've worked with that absolutely I think I would trust them with my life. Even in my stage right now, I'd get in the ring with them and know they'd take care of me. I never had the chance to work with you unless we did a battle royal or something together.
We was in a battle royal one time.
Yeah.
And that was the only time that we ever worked. And it was like short. It was like maybe 2 or 3 minutes between us. And I told you to throw me over the top rope, and I was gone.
Your wish is my command.
Well, we used the baby face at the time. We wanted to build you up good, so
yeah,
I was healing. So
was that at my show or was it at the IPW?
That was at one of our shows at PCW.
Okay. I remember I did 2 battle royals at IPW before I actually ever did anything officially, because people still think Kenny and Wayne and myself hate each other.
Yeah.
That's good work. That's good work.
Exactly.
So yeah, I saw. Go ahead.
Let's see. I'll start off with of the guys that I know of that I worked with in the past. I would say my 4 favorite people to work with at the time. One of them, of course, was Mike, Lone Wolf Mike Stone, or AKA Lone Wolf Mike Walbright.
Once he did the MMA, everybody saw that it was Mike Walbright, and he pretty much changed it from Mike Stone to Mike Walbright.
Yeah. Me and Mike could hit each other as hard as we could, and we never would get mad. or start, go off on, shoot on each other or anything like that, because we'd always tell each other up front, we need to be stiff. We want it to look real. And you could ask about anybody that ever seen me and him fight. We about killed each other. We take crazy bumps to the floor in the gym. I about took his head off one night. I pulled him to the right underneath the top turnbuckle in the corner. He might have been a foot away from the stairs, and I ran up the stairs and I did a leg drop, and his feet got caught under the bottom rope, and basically I caught him right underneath the chin and about took his head off.
Oh gosh.
And yeah, he loved it though. He said it was good. I says I'm sorry, dude. I said I know I caught you hard. He said don't worry about it. And then from that first match that me and him had like that, I was like, you know what I could take? I know what you can take. Let's go out there and put on a good show. Let's be good and stiff. Let's don't try to beat each other's brains out, but it always turned most time into slugfest. But me and Mike, I knew Mike for so long from high school and everything that I was close with him. He was one of my friends from high school that I hung out with all the time. And we just, once he realized I was training to wrestle and stuff, and we just, me and him, just clicked. One more is Roger Burke. Roger B. Demented.
Shoot.
He was one of the good guys. One of the best workers I like to work with. He was another one that we could hit each other as hard as we wanted to, and we wouldn't get mad over it.
Yeah. I always said if that guy would have had just a little bit more charisma, man, he could have done something.
Oh,
he
yeah.
Was that good. He was that good. I mean, as far as in the ring, he was that good, I thought.
And he would study ECW tapes, WCW, WWE tapes and stuff. And before we actually got to training at Kenny and Wayne's spot, we threw a mattress out in his yard. And that for the first 6 months, that's how we learned how to train, is on a mattress in the yard. And It was, after a while, we just tossed the mattress to the side because it was basically the same as just taking a bump on the ground.
It is the same thing.
And once we got to where we conditioned, yeah. Now I've been in some stiff rings. Now that first one that you all had when you was working with that other promoter when you first started Dirt Hall.
Yeah.
And that was a stiff fucking ring, dude.
I bought that ring off of Manny Poffo.
I always did like Clanny. He was always a good wrestler. Him and Macho Man both were.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that ring came from Lanny Poffo, and I picked it up in Lexington. I lived in Lexington at the time, and that's where I got it. But man, it was stiff.
Oh, it was. The main thing about it was that big old metal plate that cupped over that spring in the middle.
Yeah,
that was the reason why it was so stiff. But now the further along we got to doing the shows, and you broke away from that other guy, we was like, it was the ring got better, and it's where it was like bouncing. But one of the best rings I've ever been in is probably Kenny and Wayne's, and it was Nazi, the guy that works at Harlem Pawn Shop, was the one that put that one together, and he done a great job, man. I'm telling you,
he built that square tubing, man.
Yeah, I love taking a bump in that ring, man. It was like jumping on a trampoline.
Yeah, it was. And now, the few matches I did inside that ring, the bumps were great. But now, as far as running the ropes, that threw my rhythm off, because I was used to running across, like, my ring was like running across the porch. It was like solid.
Those ropes were kind of low too. I'd always have to buckle my knee before I went into them with my back, so that I wouldn't like overshoot and go over the top.
See, I always thought Kenny's ring the ropes were too high, because I was used to the ropes that were lower. And it was it's wild, man, how you get used to different things. And but I know Ray didn't have any trouble 6'6" or 6'7", whatever he really was, and
Yeah, he's
stepped up.
like I think he was like 6'6".
Yeah, he could step right
And
over that top rope in that ring, in that little wooden ring, and he looked like Andre the Giant when he did it.
yeah.
I mean, he would
And
barely even have to put the top rope down.
two of my other favorite guys to continue my Mount Rushmore of wrestlers that I worked with is Rip and Rage. I love them boys. They took me under their wing, taught me so much stuff, and I'd heard years ago. I think it was Rip was the one that passed away.
Yeah, Rage is the one that passed away. The big tall white guy.
Oh, Rage was the one that passed away.
Rage passed. Dave's still alive. I ain't heard from him in a while, but
if we ever get around to where we can do some shows, we need to try to get in contact with some of the boys that we can, and try to get them to at least come if they're not wrestling anymore to come and
wouldn't it be great to have like a Legends reunion event or some kind?
Yeah, it would be. It'd be awesome. I mean, because we ran for what? 4, 5 years?
Yeah, about 5 years altogether. Yeah.
And we was back and forth from Louisville to Hall and out there at the Armory. I mean, we put on some great shows. We had some time.
Yeah.
The 2 Scottish guys that wore the kilts and stuff that you brought in at one time. I loved those guys. They were so nice and awesome.
Yeah, the Bravehearts.
Yeah, they were some awesome dudes, man.
Yeah, I think the bigger one of the two, the big, tall, husky one, I think he unalived himself.
Oh, wow. That's sad, man.
Yeah. Hey, Charlie K, thanks for joining, buddy. I appreciate that.
Hello, Miss Erica.
We love having you here, Charlie. We appreciate you showing up, buddy.
We sure do. No, Nana Kim, I didn't wrestle in school. We didn't have wrestling here. Now we do in the county. We've got wrestling teams. We got girls and boys wrestling, but no, I wasn't lucky enough to be in a school that was had a wrestling team and stuff like that. I learned the old school way. I learned from the old timers and the guys that were older than me when I first started going to wrestling training and stuff. Talked to like Jimbo, Kenny Wayne Phillips, known as Ghost Riders. I learned from those guys, Buddy Landale. I wrestled with Abdullah the Butcher over at Mid-South. Some of the good guys, I mean, in the business, and I'm not just blowing smoke at anybody, but Jimbo was a good worker, and I learned from Jimbo. And there was Greg Lewis was another one, War Machine for IPW. He was one of the guy that I loved wrestling because he had that old school throwback.
Yeah, I never got to work with him, but yeah, I heard that about him. I heard he was.
He was, man. Some of the best matches, like 2 of the best matches I ever put on was with Greg, and he was awesome.
Yeah. I'll tell you another one who a lot of people don't like him, but and as far as his attitude, he might be a bit of a butthole, but as far as making things look good, and maybe it's because me and him didn't really like each other, and we were kind of stiff with each other. When me and Eddie T finally linked up and got in the ring together,
Eddie. That's another good guy, man.
Yeah. Nobody left thinking that me and Eddie T were friends, or that we, that we were faking, because I've had stitches after matches with Eddie T, and he's had stitches after matches with me, and it wasn't something that was planned.
Yeah. Eddie, and there was Tim Lightning, Tim that always worked with us all the time too. And I learned from those guys, man. I mean, they were some of my favorite opponents and the guys that I learned from. That's how I learned the old school side of wrestling and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Earth Angel Abdullah used to cut himself up pretty bad. His face is.
Yeah, he wanted to gig me one time, and I wouldn't let him do it. And now that I've seen what happened with that one Canadian wrestler that sued him for giving him hepatitis C and then losing his WWE developmental contract and all that stuff.
Yep.
I'm glad that I never let him kick me at all. Now I've
Yeah,
had him stand on my chest and him over for 500 pounds back years ago, and
yeah.
that was the last time I ever let him do that.
In my independent Rushmore, I would have Tim Lightning and Mike Walbright, of course, both of those guys. Uh, Tim had a whole lot of hand in training me when I first started, and so did Eddie. So did Eddie. People don't know that, but Eddie was around. Pat Gross, Sandman, he was around.
Yeah,
But I would put Tim. I would work Tim today. I'd get in the ring with Tim today and know that I was not going to get hurt, and he would make me look like a freaking superstar.
that's the old school, man. That's making minimal movements, but make it mean something. That's what gets the crowd's attention. That's ring psychology 101.
Tim, I remember we was at the Armory, and if you guys don't know about the National Guard Armory, the floor is concrete.
Yes.
We were at the Armory in Harlan, and Tim and I were having a good match. We were about 10 minutes in, of a 15-minute match or so. We spilled outside. We were getting ready to take it home, and Tim said, "Hip toss." Okay, so I hip tossed him on the floor, and then he said, "Suplex me." I said, "Hell no, I ain't suplexing you." Why not? Because I'm not taking a bump on the floor. I said, "You can, I'm not." So yeah, but Tim would do
Now,
anything he could to make you look good. He
oh,
was good
we,
at it. He drew me too, man. That purple outfit that he
oh,
wore.
yeah.
Purple Haze was another one, and I can't stand it. I can't stand the guy. But
We was,
I'd work
I
him
think we
anytime.
was, I think we was I'm pretty sure it was out there at Hall this night. Switchblade was reffing mine and Mike's match, and I called the clothesline outside, and I told you, I said, take a bump. And when Mike went to take one, I took one. Both of us went down. And for the longest time, every time he'd see me out somewhere, Switchblade, he'd start hollering. He said, "Your head hit." I said, "No, it didn't." I says, I trained for over a year before I even got in the ring. And he says, "I don't care what you said." He said, your not head both hit that floor. I said, "No, bro." I said, "That was all shoulders." And still, I mean, for the years, he would holler that. He said, "I don't care what you say. I know, I seen it." I said, "No." I said, "I'm telling you, brother." I said, "Even if I did hit my head on that floor, it wouldn't have hurt me at all." I said, "Because I've been hit with so much shit over the years that uh, I'd get hit with things and I'd have to sell like crazy just so people would believe that, you know, I was hurt because all you would feel is your head move because you've been hit with so much stuff over the years, man. It conditions your skull to where you don't feel it after a while." And I asked Mike one time, Mike, has your head started going numb after you've been hit with so much stuff? And he said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I says, I'm the same way now." And I said, "I'm kind of having to sell like crazy, just to get it across to people." And I remember one time I got hit and I turned around and before I know what was going on, realized, hey, you're in the middle of a match. I had to stop and grab my head real quick, fall down to my knees. And I think it might have been Mike or Roger One that night I was wrestling. Whoever it was started laughing at me. Said, "I was wondering if you was going to powder out, son." I
How
was
many
like,
how
"I
many
about wasn't
concussions do you
to."
think you got over the years?
Probably that I know of, two, but I'm thinking I racked up another one, so probably about three
Yeah.
altogether. Um, my doctor, it's been probably 10 years since he sent me for a good MRI and brain scan and stuff.
I was going to ask you if
He
there
was, yeah.
some been told there's a
Well,
little
that
bit of CTE damage. Not
that first show
significant, but
with
I've
Tommy
got some.
Gunn, man, he about beat my brains out that night. That's the first hardcore match I'd ever had.
Yeah.
And, I'd never hit anybody with a chair at that time. And he's like, he kept telling me, he said, wrestle snug. He said, hit me harder, hit me harder. And finally he got mad and he grabbed a chair. He said, let me show you how to do it. Man, Lord have mercy. But he was a cool dude. After it was over with, he'd go out to the back in the car, pulled out a beer, said, here you go, dude. You deserve that. He said, I beat the shit out of you tonight. So I would say that's was probably my first one. And I know the other two was with Mike, no doubt.
Yeah. Mike can hit you with a stiff work punch and give you a concussion.
Oh, yeah.
Dude's hands are like damn center blocks.
And that was what was so good about me and Mike. Me and Mike was so close that, man, we could really knock each other's fucking brains out, dude, and not get mad afterwards, because that's the way we like to work. We like to make contact. So you can, I mean, it looks good. The crowd believes it more.
Well, because it's more real. I mean, when I take Albright up into the stands, in the bleachers, and start chopping him, and there's sweat flying, and you can see the blood busting on his chest. You don't think it's fake because you see it, you feel it.
Exactly, and believe me, folks, it hurts.
Take a chop for fun. Let me know. We'll go live.
Exactly.
And I'll come shit out of you.
They used to. I made a kid sign a waiver one time at one of our shows there at PCW. He wanted chopped, and I said, "Are you sure?" Well, I chopped him after he signed it, and if I ain't mistaken, I believe it was Thelma was the one that told me that he wanted hit with the chair. I said, "Are you serious?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Did you sign something?" And Thelma told me, "Yeah." And not saying nothing bad about the kid, but he was kind of like he was a little slow, and I kept reiterating to him, "Are you sure you won't hit with a chair?"
What little Billy Zane was it?
No, it wasn't Billy. Oh, I bent more chairs over that poor little feller's head than Lord have mercy. We used that kid as a punching bag, man. Do you realize that? Me and Regulator was so fucking mean to him, man.
I don't know what he weighed. It couldn't have been 100 pounds.
I would say at least 90 to 100 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, I choke slammed him, and it felt like I was picking up a bag of wadded up paper up over top of my head.
Rip picked him up. Not Rip, but Rage, the tall white guy. He picked him up like Insane wasn't going to jump off the top rope. He had no intentions of it. But he climbed to the top, and Rage goes over and gets him, throws him from one corner. The ring's 16 foot. Throws him from one corner, diagonal to the other corner. And he hits the turnbuckle. Like when he lands into the turnbuckle. Oh. He threw him that far. And I was like, I knew then, like, I got to quit putting him in there with Rage. He's going to get killed.
Regulator was one at one time, and Billy kicked him in the balls. Oh, son. Choke slammed him through that table. I mean, like head first, all head. Poor Billy's legs was up like this as he was coming down.
Yeah.
And I just knew Regulator had killed him.
Ask Albright next time you see him how I call for a nut shot when we're working. Because the very first time I ever worked Albright, I told him, I said, give me a nut shot and take over. He did. Literally. Like, he folded me up. So from then on, I was like, give me an upper left thigh shot and take over.
Yeah. I learned that from him, too. He'd hit you right. He'd give you a nut shot for sure. It'd lift you up off the ground.
And you'd have to go back to the spot and let them come back out of your stomach about 20 minutes later.
Yeah. Him and Regulator was good for stapling each other's balls. And then Regulator done me like that one night and he accidentally slipped up and hit the sack. Oh, man.
I found some
that
pictures.
felt.
Let me see if I can find this picture. If I can find this picture,
Right.
I want to share it with you. It's Walbright. It's at our show, but it's Walbright. And do you remember when he used to let us staple money to his forehead?
I used to let him do that too. Yeah.
You can staple as much as you want there, but I get to keep it. That was his rule. So, yeah. But I've got a picture of him with the damn dollar bill stapled to his forehead. Now, we're not talking about a little desk stapler. We're talking about a big industrial staple gun that we would bring out there, stick it on his forehead, and bam, stick it to his forehead. 4 shots. Each corner would get a staple.
It was me and him both come up with that idea. We'd let anybody staple money. I mean, we'd let the fans and stuff staple money to their forehead, but the thing about it was we got to keep it.
Yep. Let me see if
I mean, me and him made $50 a piece one night at one of our shows doing that.
Walbright had that much.
Yeah,
Y'all had that much stapled to your head.
Yep.
See now, Jimmy. Now listen, I'm not saying you're ugly, but for me, I was just too pretty for that shit.
Yeah. I should have been opened my eyes up and realized how handsome I was back then, but I just really didn't give a damn. I was a kind of down and full of, you know what? Didn't care.
Yeah, love and grace. I've never had the Jimmy has, but he could tell you. But I've never had the pleasure of having anything stapled to my forehead, and I probably won't, not voluntarily anyway. But I would imagine it does hurt.
It's like getting a shot. Yeah, it's like getting a shot. Yeah, but it's not bad at all. I mean, I've had me and Micah stapled dollar bills and stuff from the crowd, from people all up and down our arms and our legs, and dollar bills to our gonadal region. And I mean, it's just. But people knew when, because we'd start hollering for dollar bills, we'd pull out that staple gun, and buddy, the people would just come running with dollar bills, $5 bills, 10s, 20s, and just hand them to you. And I'd say, are you sure about this? You know you're not getting this back right. I don't care. Go for it. Staple it. Staple it. People just loved blood back then, man. That hardcore wrestling was in. People was eating it up in this county.
This is off Walbright's Facebook. Check this out. That shows you how big Walbright is. Now, he's bigger than that now. But there in that picture, I'm right at 280, 290. And he's way, way bigger than me.
Oh, I was about 350.
Yeah. And look at his hands. Like,
yeah, he had some big old monkey paws, son. Is that I used to tell him all the time.
And I wore a size 18 ring. I don't wear that quite that big now. I wear like a 13 now, but I mean, I've lost 200 pounds. I weighed in today at 144.
Wow, really? Yeah. I weighed myself yesterday. I'm at 246.
Damn, that's a lot. You've lost a lot.
Yeah, I went from like 525 pounds down to 246, dude. I mean, I worked my ass off.
How's it feel to be half the man you used to be?
It's kind of weird. I'm starting to feel bones and stuff. Yeah, I'm starting to feel bones and stuff that I'm not used to.
Yeah, but you still feel fat,
my hips, dude. Yeah, you know how I've always been big, and it's always in my hips. I had a big old ass, and I feel my hips and stuff and things now, man. It just my collarbone and stuff, and my neck is small, dude. I used to have like a 19-inch neck. And
mine was 24. I had a 24-inch neck.
I think mine was right around then, before I had surgery, 24, 23, somewhere through there.
And
I mean, I had a big old neck too and stuff. Yeah, that's.
But I still feel fat.
I do too. And to me, I have a lot of, after surgery and stuff, I've had a lot of skin and I got to wait for so long until I stop losing weight before they'll take all that off. So, I've got
Yeah.
probably 50 pounds of skin. My doctor told me, and he says you're actually about 200 pounds.
Yeah.
And I said, really? And he said, yeah. He says, with all the extra skin and stuff that you have, he says
And
but
see,
you're healthy.
I had lap band surgery, and you lose it 2 pounds a week, and you don't have all that excess skin that way. Um, and then with the Monjero, it was about the same, which I lost even more weight, but I never lost a bunch real fast. So my body kind of shrunk, the skin kind of shrunk as I was shrinking.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, if you lose it real fast, did you say you had the sleeve?
Yeah, I had to sleeve. I lost like 60 pounds within 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it just melts off. It's just.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Charlie. I tried to look like a killer. I tried to look like it, but that now I was always a baby face. Like I turned heel in Harlan towards the end of my career, and it was great. It was one of the greatest things I've ever seen as far as crowd reaction. But I remember I hadn't been in Harlan in 10 years, maybe. Uh, Maybe not quite that long, maybe 7 or 8 years. But anyway, and we did that show in Harlan. It wasn't a PCW show. It was that guy from Frankfurt. I can't remember the name of his promotion, but we went down there, and well, he wanted to be in Purple Haze in the main event. And I told Hayes, I'm like, because he always wants to be the baby face, and I was like, it ain't gonna work. They're gonna get booed. They're gonna boo you out of there. Um, People in Harlan ain't gonna boo me, bro. And
No.
hey, yeah, if you're a good enough heel, they will. I said, no, they won't.
No.
And,
I mean, that's like us. Even when I was a heel, people still would cheer me on and stuff. And I've, tried my best. I'm like, dude, I'm supposed to be a heel. You ain't supposed to be like clapping for me and shit.
um, yeah, I remember like when I did turn heel, the John Fields and all that group, they still, I mean, they brought signs out there. It's like the Steve Austin thing, no matter how hard he tried to turn
Yeah.
heel, they wouldn't let him. And
And John was one of the ringleaders too. That always he liked the heels.
yeah,
He didn't like the baby face.
Yeah.
I miss John. John was a great guy.
Yeah, he was. He was.
We had a lot of fans that we got close to during those years of doing that out here at Harlan.
Yeah, we went to church together since I was in kindergarten.
Yeah,
So,
I liked his dad and his mom both. I loved them to death.
yeah,
It was always good and stuff, and I worked at Don's and during that time when I was wrestling, and I worked with John over in the produce department.
yeah, yeah. He did work there for a long time.
Yeah, he loved that job, man, and loved wrestling. I tell you what, he's something else.
He's the biggest wrestling fan I've ever known.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Not even close. I remember now. I know you know who it is. Bunkhouse Buck and Jimmy Golden. You know who that is.
Oh yeah, Jimmy. Yeah.
But
yeah,
now he did a gimmick one time where he wore a mask in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and no, it was WCW. He had a mask on, and people didn't know who it was. And I asked John Fields, I said, "You know who it is?" He goes, "Oh, that's Bunkhouse Buck." I said, "How you know?" He said, "I just know."
And
it was
a fan, man,
I didn't know. I didn't know. And my mother-in-law dated him.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know it was him. Yeah. I've got pictures of them together. My mother-in-law and old Jimmy Golden. Of course, now he was married. So, but anyway.
He was good. He was a good wrestler, man. Great worker. And that was another guy that I learned things from was Jimmy. Yeah. He was a real good dude.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was always willing to take time out and talk to the younger guys. And at that time, I consider myself one of the younger guys about the business. I tell you about the first time I ever met Buddy Lindell in Frankfurt. in Frankfurt. They brought Buddy in, and it was what is that guy's name? Brian Casey was the promoter out of Frankfurt. Remember, he had that squeaky voice and
Yeah,
what they call it, something money, G money, easy money, but
easy money.
yeah. But he booked Buddy to come up to Frankfurt and work me in the main event. And so me and Purple Haze never had met him before. Now we knew who Buddy was, but he didn't know us. And there was, this was prior to social media. Wasn't nobody sending no texts with pictures and shit. But we met Buddy at a gas station in Frankfurt to lead him into the venue. And when we got out, as soon as we got out of the car, he goes, "Oh, I see a couple of workers over there." He said, "You boys are pussies, ain't you?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "You wearing fanny packs." He said, "Only a wrestler wears a fanny pack." He said, "Wrestlers are queers," and he said, "And you guys don't look like you're dating." Like, well, I guess we're wrestlers then. But yeah, I always had my fanny pack on. I always took it every venue. Get my hard copy of my license
Yep.
in. It's a license.
It was, and people wondered why they were so famous with wrestlers. It's because they were in the front. You could put your wallet in there, anything else that you had of value. And once it was zipped up and you took it off and you laid it down, we all had enough respect for each other not to take from each other. And you knew
Yep.
that in the locker room, your stuff was safe because
Yep.
everybody wore them.
Yep. Yeah, I've never been in a locker room where somebody come up missing something. Never. In 13 years. I will say that about the wrestling business. The people do respect each other. Now, they don't respect people getting a push in front of them, which I never understood. And they don't respect marital boundaries because so many wrestlers are cheaters and their wives are cheaters. It's just crazy.
Yes.
But they won't steal from you. They will not steal from you. Unless it's your wife. Now, they'll try to steal your wife, maybe. But,
Yeah. And I mean, there was a couple times that I would see guys that I've worked with for years and I knew that was married that would bring their wives there. And as soon as their wife was out of town, they would bring somebody in to manage them. Come to find out it was their girlfriend or their girlfriend, if you know what I mean, folks. And, but like Jimbo said, ring rats. And it was crazy.
Oh,
Roger's little sister, Patty, back then, she had a thing for regulator. I was he's married, right? Yeah, I was like, he's married, right? She's like, I don't care.
No, they don't care
either. I don't think he did either.
Look here. I'm going to show you this picture now. Wild Brat. I'm going to postpone the other live for about 15 minutes. Let me do that right quick. So, I know Anissa and traders are waiting with bated breath, so we'll just give them a few more minutes. Let them sit in anticipation while we have fun over here.
Yeah. They'll be all right for a little bit.
Oh, yeah. They'll sit and wait. Trust me.
From what I understood last night, they was most definitely watching what was going on. So.
Oh, they were.
And eventually they'll come after me because I'm associated with you now, and they'll try to. But they ain't gonna find shit on me. I ain't even got a speeding ticket. That's the bad thing about it. So.
Well,
they won't try to find shit on me.
If
Go
they
ahead.
Can't find anything, they'll make it up.
Oh. I mean, they ain't gonna bother me none. I'm tough skinned. I don't give a damn.
Now check out that masked dude there in Walbright's corner.
Yeah, and a pink blazer. I wonder who that could be. I think that might be a country boy, Jimbo College.
Big country. That's big country.
Big country.
Big country. I know him pretty good. I've met him a time or two.
Oh, big country. He was managing Mike that night.
Yeah, we were in Lawrenceburg, I think, right there. Molly, I can't remember how old she was, but she was a little bitty thing. And I was like, she said, "That's you, Dad." I said, "No, Molly, that's not me." She said, "Yes, it is." I said, "No, Molly." I said, "How do you know it's me?" She goes, "Look," and it wasn't this picture, but she said, "Look, you're wearing your wedding ring, dummy." I was like, "Oh, well, I guess it is me then." You got me.
For years I wrestled, and I finally talked Dad into coming to one of the matches one night. And I was wrestling Ryan Dookie
Oh,
and
he's another.
another, yeah, and another one of the kids that trained with him. I can't remember what the kid's name was, but he was real young looking. But he liked to do a lot of flippy shit off the top rope and everything. And Dad,
Do you have
I
blonde hair?
yeah,
I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name. Yeah.
and he Dad just laughed. And after it was over with, he let me know. He says, "I'm going out to the car." I says, "Well, I'll be out there just a little bit." And I went out there and I got in the car and he just laughed and giggled. He said, "I can't believe you let them little bitty old fellers beat on you like that." He said, "As big as you are." I said, "Dad, that's part of the show." I says, "I got to let them get their hate and stuff."
Yep. Man, Kim said he has tree trunks for legs. There's Walbright standing with
Yeah.
me. That was after one of my neck surgeries. I think that's at the Harlan Armory right there.
Yeah, it is. You could tell by the background, the colors and stuff there, and the ceiling tiles.
Yeah. Man, Walbright's got a bunch of pictures if you want to go troll his Facebook for photos.
I'll have
He's
to
got,
go look and see if he's got any of me on there somewhere. It's untelling. I remember that little dark-headed girl he used to run around with years ago when we was doing all that. She used to take pictures and stuff all the time.
let's see.
Yeah, Mike,
Yeah,
if you see this, you can tell that me and Jimbo's scoping out your pictures and stuff on your Facebook. So what you need to do is you just need to bring your big ass onto the show one night and sit and reminisce with me and Jimbo some.
yeah. There's Walbright and three of my children
Yeah.
there and me.
Man, they was little back then, weren't they?
Yep, that's little Hunter right there between me and Walbright, and that's Molly in front of
Yeah, I
him.
can see him.
There on the side. Yeah, they were little fellas. Let me see. I know he's got some more. I was looking to see if he had any of those hardcore. I bet he's got some on his phone or on somebody's camera or on a hard drive somewhere. Y'all.
I'd say he does. Now, I know he used to have about every tape that we would have for PCW shows. He would get tapes. He said he's got them on VHS, but it would cost, he said he looked into it and it would cost like $300, $400 to get them put on a DVD. But I'd love to get my hands on them and
Yeah, it ain't
put them
that
on
expensive no more
DVDs.
though.
Yeah.
And Clark does that. Clark Bailey.
Yeah.
He's got the equipment to do that now. He could do that for you if you can get Walbright's got him. Let me show you this picture. This is old Walbright holding me back, keep me from killing somebody right here. Look here. I'm ready to go get him, son. Of course, then he whispered to me. And then he whispered to me and said, "Go get him." I said, "Okay." So,
I
did
used
you
to
ever
love
try to
pool
pick
parts.
anybody up, see if you can make them laugh in the ring, see if you can get them to break kayfabe?
Oh, yeah. Mid South, the guys that used to wrestle for IPW too, they wore like the little skirt things that kind of put face paint on gothic gimmick. Um, I can't remember what their names were. The Necromancers is what they went by. They used to get us, me and Mike, all the time with tag team together for Kenny and Wayne. And one of them, the smallest one, you'd start hitting him and stuff, and he, under his breath, he'd start hollering, "Oh, you're killing me! Oh, you're breaking my little bitty head!" And so just some of the crazy shit he would say would I'd about break character every time. I'd have to like turn away from the crowd, face the wall or something for a second so I could get my composure.
Yeah.
And I'd always tell him, I was like, knock it off, knock your shit off, stop it, stop it. But yeah, it was always fun to cause one of your fellow wrestlers to break character.
Oh yeah.
We always got a kick out of that if we can make them break.
Yeah, I would tell some very inappropriate jokes and
Oh yeah, I do that too.
now I don't know like you said you and Roger self trained a little bit and then you guys trained with Kenny Wayne. But when I was trained and I've done this in every match of my career, and including the very last one, as soon as the match is over, um, if somebody puts me over, as soon as the 3 count goes or they tap out or whatever, I
always thank them. Yeah, I
always
learned
thank
that. Yeah,
and I mean
that's a show of respect, from the brotherhood, as we like to call it. To thank each other if somebody goes over on top of you. Because your opponent, whether you're the baby face and you're going over, that's that night. That's the heels' turn to make you look good, so that you go over and you get all the pops.
let's see. Let's see if I can. We'll save it for another one, I guess. But I was trying to find that video. Let's see. Yeah, let me see. Might be able to pull it.
Folks, thank you all so much for coming and joining me and Jimbo tonight. We appreciate each and every one of you.
Yeah. I don't know if any of the moderators got the
Narcissistic
link.
Times.
Video. Here we go. That ain't right.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. And go over to the Turnbuckle Times. Hopefully, I tried getting it set up tonight so that through StreamYard so that we could do it, folks, and it just didn't work out. So Jimbo said we'll just do it on the stand tonight. And but eventually we'll get it over to our channel that we're wanting to get going and stuff. And put on some good shows for you folks. We're going to try to have some guests for you guys too. We maybe one night we might try to do some trivia if we can get enough folks that want to play some trivia and stuff with wrestling. And
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great.
yeah, that'd be fun right there.
No wrestling trivia.
Yeah, that's where you separate your smart marks from your real fans, folks. I was watching last night. I didn't know that they done all that to Hunter's car, man. That is fucking Lord have mercy.
Yeah, it's
I'd be ready
sad.
to put up some cameras.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like I have cameras and I got trail cams and everything up there, but the day we were leaving that house and after we got the last load from U-Haul, I took cameras with us because though there's 3 cars up there actually. The only one they've messed with was Hunter's. They didn't bother my Ford Explorer. They didn't bother James's truck. They're broke down and I had to get them towed. But no, they just messed with my young boy's car. First car he's ever owned. I bought it for him when I got my settlement. And it's just hate, man. It's just hate in people's heart. Check this out, man.
That's the bad thing about it these days, man. Everybody is so quick to judge others and hate each other, and without, I'm the type of person when somebody says something to me, I research that person. because I don't want to jump to conclusions. I don't want to ever, try to pass judgment on anybody unless I know the facts.
Yep.
Look at that bald-headed fella right there with that little bony butt there.
I know.
I
Look,
wonder
my
who
ass.
that is. What happened to your ass, dude? It disappeared.
I started having back surgery, man. My ass just sunk in. Like it.
That's the bad thing with me now, man. I used to have the biggest ass you'd ever seen on a human, man.
Me too.
It's flat as I'll get out now. I ain't got an ass no more.
Yeah. Check this out. This little video. This is a little spot we did. This is my final match right here. This is me and Walbright ended up working Tim, and I can't remember that kid's name, but he was Tim's brother-in-law or something. You'll know it when you see him. I can't remember his name, but he was stiff as a board. I'll tell you that. Let's see. Yeah, I really laid that headbutt into Tim right there too. My feet were shaking on the road. I was like, oh, boom, I got him.
He was a good seller. That's one of the people that I learned how to sell from was from Tim.
Yeah. I love working Tim, man. It was fun. Always fun. Because he put you on.
It always was.
Yeah.
That's one thing when Kenny Wayne told me I was working Tim that night, I'd be like, all right. It's like, you don't care to work him? I was like, no, I love working Tim. Me and him always got along. I learned stuff from Tim.
Yeah. Shoot, I never seen Tim get mad at anybody.
Me neither. That's one thing I've never seen him get mad at somebody.
Mm-mm.
He was one of the lightest workers, man, there ever was.
Oh yeah.
But now he could be stiff when he wanted to. And after a while I had to let him know. I was like, man, I'm tough, I can take it. Look, you work snug if you want to.
Yeah. I would rather get I'd rather get Tater than somebody completely miss me and make it look stupid.
Exactly. See, that's the reason why I always like everybody I worked. I'd always let them know, hey man, I like working stiff because I don't want you swinging and missing me by accident because it's gonna make you look stupid and make me look stupid. So make contact.
Purple Haze's girlfriend, like she was his valet or whatever, and they wanted to do this thing where she slapped me, and she wanted to smack her arm. I'm like, no, you slapped the shit out of me.
No,
I mean,
that's what kills me. That's what kills me today, man. Watching wrestling, you got all these people that slap their leg or their arm or their shoulder and stuff like that. Yeah, it sounds good, but when you actually watch them slap themselves, it takes away the illusion, man.
Yeah. If you can't do it the right way, then don't do it.
If you ain't got the balls and get me some contact right here on my chin, then you don't need to be wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not a business that's easy. It takes a real breed of person to wrestle. Every bump fucking hurts, folks. It hurts bad. We didn't jump on no damn trampolines, contrary to what anybody's ever told you. Or the rings ain't made out of no damn trampoline. It was most of the times it was decking boards or fucking OSB or plywood.
Yeah.
Unless you got a good ring like Kenny Wayne them had that had tube steel, that was kind of like bouncing on a trampoline because it was, what tube steel would take a good impact from your weight and it would pop you right back up. But man,
It would, but also that could work against you sometimes because I've had some of this happen in Kenny Wayne's ring where the ring was moving up and down. And who was that gave me the damn splash? The guy, I think he was deaf. Did the Samoan gimmick. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, one of the wild Samoans at the time. Are you talking about the fat one?
Yeah, he came in
The
and did a
older
run.
one that had the gray hair.
Yeah, he came in and
Yeah.
did a run again. And the ring was bouncing up and down, and I was supposed to take a splash. Well, the ring was bouncing up and down, and when he's coming down for the splash, the ring's coming up, and it was the stiffest splash I've had
Yeah.
in my life. Like it knocked the
Yeah.
breath.
Yeah, I took some crazy bumps in that ring, man. It was only because I'd been around, I trained in it for years, and it was just second nature to all of us. And I never did got hurt in that ring. The only ring over at Mid South, and it was actually come find out it was a boxing ring. There was no, you know how boxing rings are; they have no give to them at all.
No,
And that was one of the stiffest damn rings I'd ever been in my life, dude. I'm telling you, shoot, that shit rung my bell. I don't know how many times over there.
I'm getting ready to send you a link in Messenger for the StreamYard for the other show. We'll head over there and
Okay.
start it. I don't think Kemper's off work yet, so we'll just continue over there and get started, and we'll keep going. We'll keep chatting about it right here, but we'll get started on the other one. So, guys, we're going to head over to the stand. If you guys want to jump over there with us, and we'll be live here in about a couple minutes. And I don't know what the target is. Maybe you talking about doing it on Sundays. Maybe next Sunday we can get ahead and get something planned up for the Turnbuckle Times. But we are going to have a lot of fun discussing this. And well, we just breaking the ice tonight. Just wait.
Oh
Stories
yeah, we're just getting
that I've
started,
already been
folks.
talking about. Yeah, like I've been thinking about stories to tell and that I thought people would find interesting. And man, it's making me want to wrestle.
It does me too. That's one of the worst things about it, man, is that wanting that nostalgia back, dude. Just getting in the ring and just. That's what I was telling Shell. If we ever decide we're going to do some shows here in Harlem, man, it's going to take everything I've got not to get in that ring and just hit the ropes, run the ropes, and just take a big back bump.
Oh goodness. Well, all right, Jimmy. We'll try to do it Sunday, and we don't really have an intro or outro yet, but we'll come back and
we'll get one going, folks, for everybody. But we thank you all for joining us for this impromptu show tonight. And I'm Jimmy.
I'm Jimbo.
And we guys will catch you here in a few minutes.